Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, we are discussing one thing and one thing only.
So weird. Feels wrong.
It felt like I forgot to watch stuff. But John Denver is the subject of conversation this week because we watched the 1983 TV special, Rocky Mountain Holiday.
Has he had the most episodes dedicated to him of any non-Muppet person?
I mean, you're asking me a question there, Sam, that I definitely don't know the answer to.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about John Denver more. Like, he's had his name in the title of more episodes of Commitment than anybody else.
I'm going to say he's in a tight race with Julie Andrews.
She might... Oh, yeah.
She's done like 4 specials with the
Yeah.
Muppets, and he's only done
Right.
2 specials and an episode of The Muppet Show.
Right. Okay. So he's right behind her. I think you're right.
Yeah. So I think it's a close race.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you know, that lifelong battle of John Denver versus Julie Andrews.
Love to see them fist fight, or at least slug it out. That would be the saddest fist fight ever.
I mean, my money's on Julie.
I think so too. I think John, he just breaks his glasses and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm out. I'm done, man."
She would just like slowly pull them off of his face
Yeah.
and crack them right in front of him.
Hold
Be
them
like,
right in front of his
"What
eyes
now?"
and go. "Ch-"
Well, unfortunately, we are not here for that celebrity death match discussion. Although, who knows? It might come back up
Remember
later
that
on.
show? Jeez.
That is one of those shows that I feel like was really a fever dream that
Yeah.
at some point, like Gen Z TikTok is going to discover Celebrity Deathmatch and be like, what the hell was wrong with you guys in the 90s? This was messed up.
We hated celebrities back
Not,
then.
but we hated certain celebrities, and other
Yeah.
celebrities were like, hey, you're so cool. I want to imagine you murdering Hanson. Like,
That's true.
which, you know, on the flip side of that, I think if you go back to like the people who were framed as cool on Celebrity Deathmatch, they probably aged the least poorly as far as like, you know, problematic behavior.
Oh, you mean the most poorly?
That's
They're
what I meant.
probably worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as like who was framed as the cool people on Celebrity
Right.
Deathmatch are probably all canceled at this point.
Right. And it's funny when you hear about Hanson now, you're like, wow, Hanson, I missed you guys. It's like you watched all 3 of them get decapitated in one swipe of
Now they just
Freddy
have
Krueger's
like
claws or whatever.
50 children, and they seem perfectly fine and happy with their
They have
lives.
50 children.
They have a lot of kids,
They should start a choir and sing Mbop. That would
but a
be
very
good, right?
haunting rendition.
Yeah. For a movie trailer for like Shazam 3.
I feel like there's probably been conversations at MTV in the past 5-10 years, multiple conversations saying, do you think now is the time to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch?
You know what they would do? Use AI to determine the actual results of the fight.
They'd probably also actually ruin it by getting the celebrities themselves involved
Yeah.
and like voicing themselves on it and like having a say as to what happens, which would entirely ruin it. I was wondering if the Muppets ever were on Celebrity Deathmatch as a competitor. It does not seem like they were.
Okay.
But, you know, put Muppets against Sesame Street on Celebrity Deathmatch. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, the Muppets would win, I think.
Oh, I mean,
The
Gonzo
Muppets
with a
would have-
cannon?
The
Yeah.
Muppets would bring guns, yeah.
Cookie Monster could eat everyone, though. Oscar would have a gun. He'd just be like,
Yeah.
I found this in my trash can.
Oscar's got a concealed carry license for sure. He's a cab driver.
He has to protect himself.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we are not here to discuss Celebrity Deathmatch, a show that I can't imagine has aged well at all, but I also haven't watched it in, 20 years. So
Also, probably a lot of people don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
yeah,
So
it was a
just Google it.
claymation show in the
Claymation
90s
show.
where celebrities just literally Mortal Kombated each other in a wrestling ring. And blood, guts, all in clay form. But
The countless hours spent rendering that in clay form. It's amazing.
yeah,
We had a lot more
somebody's
free
like
time
whole
back
life
then.
for a long time was doing claymation celebrity fights.
Of like Paris Hilton's head exploding.
And now they're making Pinocchio with Guillermo del Toro, probably. There's only so many specialists in that field.
It's true. You're probably right.
But yeah, a truly wild show that I have to imagine leaned on a lot of stereotypes that wouldn't fly today.
Nope.
Well, before we get into talking about John Denver, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here at the top of the episode that we haven't done in a while. Just to mention, we got other things going on outside of the podcast that you can check out. We always say at the end of the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, because that's where we post links to like the things we're going to watch, which some of them, only exist on our Google Drive at this point. So we'll share those with you when we can. But we also post fun things over there. Lately, I've been obsessed with the idea of making Muppets, which
Lately, it's been like 6 months.
well, I realize I don't know if we've ever mentioned a Muppet on the podcast.
I mean, I think the concept was born via one of us saying Fonzie or something.
I accidentally said Gonzi. In an episode forever ago, and then started imagining what that like monster of a mashup might be, and then created it in Photoshop, and thus birthed the Muppets, a series of characters that I have now created via Photoshop, and
And everyone's really worried about you.
Fair. I don't seem to be able to stop myself anymore. It just any spare moment I have, it's like instead of a cigarette break at work, I'll take a Muppet break and just be like, well, I'll crack one of these out in 5 minutes.
It only takes you 5 minutes.
Not all of them. And sometimes it's like I'll spend 5 minutes on this now and then 45 minutes on this later.
Look, if anybody from work is listening, it only takes them 5 minutes, okay?
Oh, I'm not working on it for 45 minutes in the middle of the workday.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely not.
No, honestly, it's usually my lunch break or like 5:01 hits and I'm like, it's Muppet time.
It's been brewing in your brain all day long.
Yeah. It is an unfortunate thing where as soon as I have a good idea for one, I'm like, well, this has to exist immediately. As if anyone else is going to race in and create it instead of me.
I thought about trying to make some, and then I was like, no way. I'm not going to learn Photoshop that good.
Mm-hmm. On top of creating these Muppet concoctions, which they're all on our Twitter, and I've started putting them on our Instagram and Tumblr if you want to go look at them. I feel like I really opened up a new Pandora's box by creating older versions now. I created a season 1 Gonzi. I created the James Dean show Colf.
The James Dean show thing was amazing and haunting.
Yeah, which is really the vibe I'm going for with Muppets is amazing, haunting, slightly upsetting. Like, I never want one to come out and people go, oh, you did it. This is the best thing I've ever seen. I honestly want it to come out and people go, oh, why? I don't know what to do with these Muppets eventually. People have suggested merch. That feels very illegal. But they're out there for the internet to appreciate. Yeah, I won't stop making them because it seems like I physically can't stop making them even if I try.
I forgive you. I absolve you of your sins.
Well, and also anytime anyone makes a suggestion of like, what about these two? I immediately want to do the opposite of that, which is like something is broken in me. That like,
Yeah.
I want the Muppets to be like the least pleasing thing in any possible way. Like I want them to be visually upsetting. I want the names to feel a little wrong. And if somebody suggests mashing up two more Muppets, I'm like, well, that is never happening.
It's how you get all your aggression out.
Maybe that's a weird way to do
You're
it, I
a very
guess.
peaceful man otherwise.
Yeah. And like nobody knows I'm doing this anyways, so it is just like behind these Muppets is a little bit of resentment. I do feel like we should acknowledge that thanks to at Storyteller West 2 on Twitter, who is the person who actually helped me come up with the name Muppets for these horrible creations, because I was trying to figure out what we should call them, and they suggested Muppets, and yep, that was the right answer.
The legal rights for these guys are a nightmare.
I have I've even gone as far as creating like a little stuffed wishable of Gonzi.
Oh no. Physical?
No. That would be way too much work. But just like taking
Okay.
the two wishables and mashing them up in Photoshop. So there's like 5 different versions of Gonzo through the various incarnations of toys
Yeah.
and all this stuff.
Decades of lore.
Yeah.
Who owns the Muppets now?
Warner Brothers, probably. They probably just
Yeah.
deleted all the Muppets content off of HBO Max,
all-
which is why you can't watch it.
It's all gone.
I also I haven't established this one as canon yet, but the Muppets might be real.
Whoa.
The Muppets might not be puppets.
Colf and James Dean really knew each other.
Yes. And they like
Wow.
just went out for a smoke and a drink after work because there was
like
no Jim
this.
Henson in the Muppets world.
I like this.
Yeah. The Muppets were a species of creature walking around this planet.
The Muppets have a less confusing lore than the Muppets do, actually. More of a straight line.
Yeah, I mean, that makes everything I'm doing a lot easier if I can just say, yep, this is true. This is true. But don't worry. I have maybe reserved Morpit Wiki as a thing. So eventually there will be lore
You're
established
gonna
somewhere on the
open a
internet.
gateway. You're gonna make them real.
That's kind of my dream, Sam, is I like a real world acknowledgement of the Morpits. I'm for it. Well, we've talked way too much about Morpits for the beginning of this podcast, Sam. So tell the people what we watched this week.
We watched Rocky Mountain Holiday with John Denver and the Muppets, a TV special which aired on ABC on May 12th, 1983. In the special, John Denver is taking the Muppets on a big camping trip up into the Colorado Rocky Mountains, something he says he's wanted to do for a long time, though as we will learn, this seems to be the second consecutive year that they've taken a trip like this. So when we first join the Muppets and John, they're hiking up to their camping spot, singing some jaunty hiking songs. On their way, they run across an old shack that seems to belong to Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers, who also sing a jaunty song. Once they get to their campsite, the Muppets all start to help set up camp, but John finds Robin feeling a bit left out because he's not sure what he can do to help. John tasks him with hanging up a clothesline, which Robin sets about doing, but Robin is also like 8 inches tall, so his clothesline is very short and trips John. John snaps at Robin, but then immediately feels bad, and they sing a nice song together. Once that's all settled and camp is set up, the gang spends most of the rest of the special talking about fun things that they did on previous camping trips instead of doing anything during this camping trip. They reminisce about horseback riding with Miss Piggy, Rolf taking a very scary airplane trip with John, and probably some other stuff too, until it's nighttime, at which point they sit around the fire and sing a bunch of songs. John tells them a ghost story about a giant man-eating chicken that lives in the woods, which Gonzo decides he needs to find and have sex with. He does indeed find it, but I don't think he ever has sex with it because it sort of runs amok around the campsite before just like disappearing. And then more songs. And then they all go to bed. The whole special is about as exciting as actual camping and hiking are. Then we watched a short PSA featuring Kermit and John, again sitting around a campfire, talking about predatory animals and telling us about the National Wildlife Federation's efforts to protect them from poaching and shrinking habitats.
I did say we only watched one thing. I guess we did watch 2 because we watched that PSA, which is not from this exact same time period. Muppet Wiki just says it's from the 80s. So it's hard to nail down, but we are going to be watching a handful of these National Wildlife Federation PSAs throughout the next year or so because they pop up a lot. And this one is one of the few that doesn't have like a year attached to it. And so this just seemed like the best place to place it because John Denver's there.
Feels like they just turned the camera around and got that one real quick.
Yeah. John's hair
Well,
is a
they
little
have
bit
a second.
longer, so
His
he's
hair
like,
is long, yeah.
it's maybe filmed at a different time, but they just kept the same outfit on Kermit. This is his
Yeah.
Camping with John Denver outfit.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about we go ahead and talk about that real quick, get it out of the way, because there's not a lot to say about it. Other than, predators are in trouble due to poaching and shrinking habitats, and you got to help them out.
I want to write in the word predator to the National Wildlife Foundation and find out what's going on.
Yeah,
I
put
want to
you
know
on
what
the
they send
list.
me. Would it be a poster? Would it be just a pamphlet? Who knows?
It's got to be some sort of mailing list pamphlet situation that you would join in. It's just very weird to address an envelope to predators.
Predators. It does feel like you said, yeah, I would be on a list.
Yeah.
Feels like a trap of some sort. It's like all predators right in here and tell us how you're doing and your address and stuff. And nothing bad will happen to you.
What hours of the day you're home? Let us know. And the other notable thing I think about the clip we watched of this is at the very, very, very end, for like 2 frames before it cuts off, you see a brief glimpse of a 1-900 commercial start to pop up with a sexy lady silhouette.
Oh, I missed that. How did I miss that?
Now, granted, I couldn't. I looked at that phone number, couldn't verify that what that service was. So all we see is like sexy lady silhouette on a phone and a phone number. I have to imagine it was some sort of sexy call-in line. But there were 1-900 numbers for a lot of things back in the 80s. Truly weird things had 1-900 hotlines.
You could call Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
He'd tell you a story.
You could call the Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, and just listen to them for a while.
Doesn't Lisa Simpson do that in a Simpsons episode? I'm pretty sure she does.
Yes, she does.
She gets like addicted to it.
She does a version of that where she stays up for like 24 hours just listening to that. But that one like little glimpse of that conjured this weird, somebody sitting in their living room in the 80s. They see Kermit the Frog and John Denver, followed by sexy ladies asking them to call them. And that's just the biggest whiplash.
Yeah.
Like content there where you have like the two most pure creatures on earth, like John Denver and this, and it's like, hey, now call me for a good time. It's like my brain can't handle that switch.
I'm not even done filling out the envelope to the National Wildlife Foundation. You expect me to jot down this phone number?
Now I'm sending my letter about wanting to learn about wildlife to the wrong people. I'm calling this sexy lady and asking her about predators.
They would also accept letters addressed to predators, so it's not that weird, I guess. Love the implication that you can send a mail to a phone number also.
It was the 80s. I don't know how this stuff works, Sam.
I'll fax it to him.
I wasn't even alive in 1983, so I don't know what was going on.
Neither was I. Yeah, I watched the version of the special you sent me with commercials, and both this commercial and the commercials during the special were like so good. The salad dressing with Philadelphia cream cheese in it. That sounds delicious.
They want some thick dressing. It's so thick it sticks to the leaves.
That's ideal, really. I love cream cheese. I just eat big chunks of cream cheese.
With nothing?
So, yeah.
A spoon?
Uh-huh. I do the same with sour cream, too.
Nope. I was almost with you on the cream cheese. And the sour cream, nada.
Sour cream and cream cheese are like my two favorite flavors. I love them so much.
Are you a cottage cheese man as well?
Yogurt, too. I hate cottage cheese.
Okay. I don't know if you were just like any like creamy white, lumpy stuff in my fridge.
It's got to be tangy a little bit.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion.
See, cream cheese, I eat cream cheese with like wheat thins and stuff, or on a bagel as like an excuse to eat a ton of cream cheese.
A cream cheese with a Ritz, like dip a Ritz in cream, like spread some cream cheese on a Ritz. So fucking good.
I have to know, Sam, this is a personal pet peeve of mine that I need to know whether or not you would peeve me.
Oh no! I hope I don't.
I just feel like you might.
Okay.
When you have a wheat thin or a Ritz or whatever it is that you're putting into your little plastic container of unbranded, unsponsored cream cheese, are you sort of shaving the surface to keep it smooth, or are you taking big old hunks out of that? And so there's like big divots and craters in your cream cheese when you take the lid off.
I don't think a Ritz can really hold up to the scooping motion of being dipped in cream cheese. I have a little knife that I spread.
Ooh, you're a fancy boy.
Yeah, on top with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I can respect that.
And we usually get the block of cream cheese.
Oh,
too.
in the little foil?
Yeah.
All right.
But we just got a butter dish for the first time ever.
Ooh.
I've learned something about myself.
This is adulthood.
I just take the butter off the top of the piece of I just take the butter off the top instead of slice along the side. And I can't help. I know it's wrong, but I just do it every time. Then Rachel's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This makes more sense to me to just scoop it right off the top."
The problem is you're fucking up the ratio.
How so?
Well, because butter, little chunks. You know about what a tablespoon of butter is. If you need to take a tablespoon off the end, it's like about that much. If you shave off the top, that little end chunk is no longer a tablespoon.
Yeah, but generally we have the butter in the butter dish for bread and toast. And then we have some butter in the fridge, unsalted generally, for cooking.
That's fair.
So it's not a problem.
All
so
right.
I think I'm doing it better than other people are doing it, actually.
I don't mind your way. And you You won me over with your cream cheese knife.
We could live together.
Yeah. I was
We're
just
finally
afraid.
ready to get married.
I was afraid you were like leaving divots and chunks out of your cream cheese.
No.
All right.
I'm not as uncouth as you think I am. And then that really like sexy man who's like telling you about 7-Up at the beginning of that first one.
Oh yeah. But
What's that guy's deal?
I don't know. He's making 7-Up seem like a thing that I really want but can never have.
Yeah, it's true. It's illegal to buy 7-Up. It's only for the very, very wealthy.
Well, I feel like the commercials are a good segue into talking about Rocky Mountain Holiday here, Sam, because we did have 2 versions we could watch. One is the original intact with original commercials airing from 1983. And the other one is more accessible because it's on YouTube and slightly better quality visually, but it is missing the Rolf and John Denver plane segment for, I think, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because John Denver famously died in a plane crash between when the special came out and when that version, I think, was released, which was like a 2003 DVD.
Yeah.
And so they just chose to completely remove the segment of Rolf and John Denver flying around on a plane.
Because he's not just flying a plane.
He's
going
dangerously
ham in this plane.
Yes. And there's multiple references from Rolf to dying in this plane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I understand that, especially if they released it now, maybe they would leave that in.
Yeah.
But releasing it then, only a handful of years after he died, probably the right call.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a number of fun commercials throughout the uncut one, including a Sears ColecoVision Donkey Kong commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Or one where you can get a $450 VCR.
That's expensive. VCRs are that much?
Oh yeah, when they first, like, it's like anything. Like if you look at the price of DVD players when they first came out, they were like $1,000.
Oh, yeah. I guess like cassettes were like $120 or something, right?
Yeah,
They were crazy expensive.
that's why Blockbuster and everything was so successful early on, is because to buy a movie was like $80 or whatever, and so it was like, well, I can rent this for $4, so I'll do that instead.
Yeah. I like the one where it's for Pearl Vision glasses, and it's like a grandma who
So
works
weird.
in a grocery store with her grandson, and she's like, he's special, he's going to Harvard. But he couldn't see good, so I told him about glasses. It's like, this kid's not going to Harvard. His grandma had to tell him that glasses exist. She's wearing glasses, I think.
Well, she also, like, he walks up at the end and he's got these like Sally Jesse Raphael bright red
He looks
frames
good.
on. Well, she noticed that as well at the end. He's like, and now he's so handsome. But he walks up and has the most begrudging, like, God damn it, Grandma. Yeah, I got glasses, everyone. Woohoo.
She picked the frame. She keeps telling everybody that I didn't know what glasses were.
I'm a Harvard man.
I do know what glasses are.
I also feel like it's something where it feels like the most like bare bones I'm proud of him for these things kind of commercial where it's not like, my grandson's a hero, but he couldn't see. He got glasses now and he saved 8 people. It's like he works at the grocery store and he's going to college. He's a hero. And like I'm like, okay, that's great for him, but at the same time, like, why are these people the subject of this commercial? And why didn't he know about glasses?
That was my big takeaway. Did people in the 80s not know about glasses? I think they did.
My big takeaway was at the very end when it says Pearl, which is the Pearl Vision, which is Pearle.
Yeah.
Underneath that, it says a Searle Company, Searle. So some man named Searle started a glasses company called Pearl.
Or acquired it. He was like, I'm on a quest to acquire every business that rhymes with my name.
Well, clearly, we have a lot to say about Rocky Mountain Holiday, Sam. We've stayed on topic so much so far this
We
episode.
have to get all the commercials out of the way so that we don't stop talking about the full block of the show,
Well, I have more. I have to do this.
Okay.
It's also not really about Rocky Mountain Holiday, but I fell down a rabbit hole in researching this thing because it said on Muppet Wiki and Wikipedia that the soundtrack album for Rocky Mountain Holiday lost a Grammy Award.
Yeah.
It was nominated for
this.
Best Recording for Children and lost to E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And my brain went, huh? Why was that nominated for Best Recording for Children when it's just a John Williams soundtrack? Well, guess what, Sam? It wasn't just a John Williams soundtrack. This was weirder. It was an audiobook / soundtrack. It was an album narrated by Michael Jackson.
What?
That was released by MCA Records on November 15th, 1982, the same month as Thriller.
Holy shit.
Despite the conditions given by Epic Records, which is Jackson's record label, that it would not be released until after Thriller.
But they were just like, we don't care, we're doing it anyway.
Pretty much. It seems like they were like trying to capitalize on that. So
They could have waited like one day.
yeah, but Epic Records was like, no, you broke multiple rules because you said you wouldn't release it until after Thriller, and you said you wouldn't release a song called Someone in the Dark that he sings on this album as a single. And MCA was like, yeah, but we're going to do both of those.
Oh, he sings a song on it
Yeah,
too?
which I should have listened to before having this discussion. I haven't, but it's apparently like a sad song about E.T.
What? How does everyone in the world not know this song?
I'm sure more people than us do. This is actually where the picture of E.T. and Michael Jackson hanging out, where he's like got his hand on his shoulder kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
from
yeah.
this packaging. It came as a poster that you would get with the record, and it was printed on the center label of the record.
It was on the actual vinyl?
Well, on the middle sticker.
Right.
But apparently, Epic sued MCA for like $2 million, forced them to withdraw the album so it could no longer be sold, and prevented them from ever releasing the Someone in the Dark single, like as a 45.
Ever?
Right. So because of that, promo copies of Someone in the Dark were made and it become one of Michael Jackson's rarest and most sought-after records. They have sold for $1,600 for 145 of this weird E.T. song.
What the hell?
Yeah. But apparently, yeah, you like read along and listen to Michael Jackson as he narrates the song or the story of E.T. But apparently, during the recording of the narration, Michael Jackson became so upset when E.T. died that he wept.
He hadn't seen the movie yet?
I think maybe he had. But like when I still watch E.T. for like the
That part
12th
is
time.
really sad. Yeah.
But apparently Quincy Jones, who produced this recording, and Steven Spielberg both felt that trying to record the part again would not change the pop star's emotional reaction and decided to leave Jackson's crying in the finished recording.
What? Can you listen to this
I
again?
have to imagine this is on YouTube for someone like to go listen to because there are copies of it out there in the wild that you can go find.
Here it is.
As someone who's never listened to this, just based on the description alone, I would recommend giving it a weird listen.
Yeah, and also I am not surprised that the John Denver album lost to this.
Oh, no. This is this sounds
deserved
1,000
it.
times weirder and better.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad you learned about that and that you told us all about it.
That's what happens when there's not a lot of research to be done about the thing we're watching. I get pulled down a rabbit hole of, I wonder why it lost to that. And then, holy cow, this thing is weirder than I thought it would be. But let's get into John Denver and the Muppets and Rocky Mountain Holiday. Because, I wanted to highlight one. Guess what's back, Sam?
What?
Jim's Red Book is back up and running. Now it's been up and down recently. As of right now, as of recording this, it is alive and well. So if you want to go back it up for yourself, feel free. But I wanted to mention John J. O'Connor's review of this special from the New York Times. We talked about it briefly last time, I think. But there was a specific highlight I wanted to call out because throughout this review, he routinely talks about how John Denver was like forever boyish. He's known as like this boyish man who always looks like a child. Like he keeps saying that. I don't know if that was just like a problem John had with John or if that was a problem like everyone always talked about John Denver looking like a little boy. But his review wraps up, directed by Mr. Henson, the hour passes most pleasantly. It also signals an adjustment in the performing persona of Mr. Denver, now about 40 years old. He is apparently easing up on the boyish accoutrements of his image. The big round eyeglasses have given way to contact lenses, and the floppy blonde hair has been trimmed to the point where his ears are visible. He now looks at least 25. Problems.
What does that mean?
Great
This
question.
guy's got some hang-ups.
Yeah, he hates John Denver's ears.
He doesn't. He wants them to go away. He thought he wanted to see him, but then when he did, he was like,
I don't want those.
I thought he was going to say because he screamed at Robin.
Yeah, clearly this man has been a father for a while and is getting a little upset with children. So
Yeah. You idiot. It's like Homer Simpson choking Bart.
Oh, I don't want to see
Why you little?
John Denver choking Robin. I wouldn't mind seeing it drawn like The Simpsons. But I don't want to see Puppet Robin
Robin's
get
little
choked. Just grabbing Jerry Nelson by the wrist, cutting off circulation to his fingers. And yeah, as we mentioned, there are a couple differences in the versions of these that are out there. Most notably is the John and Rolf segment, but there's also a slight change with a section in here where there's like a Jaws reference, where Rolf is in a nice tube in the river floating, and Gonzo creeps through the water with his nose to pop the tube like a shark fin.
Yeah.
And the music is slightly different in the two versions of this because one was apparently a little too close to Jaws.
Get off it. Relax.
But as the opening narrator says on the at least one version of this that you can watch, starts off, "Welcome to Rocky Mountain Holiday with John Denver and the Muppets." Before we hear the opening song all about camping and are introduced to something we will see a lot throughout the special, a robotic Robin.
That robotic Robin, the only thing I could think when I saw it. So John Denver's got a big backpack on and Robin's sitting on his backpack. When he talks, does he sound like... You
just hear all the servos and motors going...
And then John Denver's like, "That's right, Robin."
You little idiot.
I mean, that's got to be what it sounded like, right?
I don't know. I'm curious because I know...
A 70s robot? Come on. 80s robot, I guess.
I know with a lot of these things, like I know the like Ninja Turtles costumes later on that the Henson Company will build, and I think the Gorgs as well. I feel like there's reports of like what it sounds like being inside of that is a little rough. Like being inside of the head with all the servos and stuff is a little rough. But as far as like that, I have to imagine there's not too much complicatedness going on because it is just like an up and down movement. So there might be a little bit of a robot sound, but maybe not too obnoxious.
That was one thing I really did like about this special. I didn't love this special, but there was like 3 moments of puppeteering that were like, whoa, this is really cool. Or maybe 4. This was one of them. Like the Robin on the backpack took me a minute to be like, oh, obviously Jerry's not in the big backpack.
John's just walking around with Jerry Nelson curled up on a backpack, just like, oh god.
Yeah.
No, I actually texted you about this special at one point, saying that it was like bizarre in a great way. Granted, I was 12 minutes in when I texted you that. Because I do think this special starts off really strong.
It's great, yeah.
And then eventually feels like they ran out of ideas. But the beginning, I think, does a lot of things so well that it makes you feel like this special is going to be one of the best Muppet things you've ever seen.
Yeah, totally. It was like 12 minutes through probably I was like, this is what like every Muppet Show episode should have been. Like, this is really good.
Yeah, you get Rolf in a cute cowboy hat. Rizzo's there with a shirt that says Rizzo.
A lot of bare feet of Muppets. Did you notice that?
Yeah, the weirdest for me was seeing Robin standing. I don't know if we've ever seen Robin standing before. He's almost always like curled up like crisscross applesauce style.
Whoa, that's a good point.
But after he sits at the clothesline and he feels like sad about it and he trips John, he's standing there holding the pole. And I'm like, I don't like it.
Unnatural.
But yeah, we see Floyd and Janice are there being very coupley in this special.
Yeah, Rizzo, like you said, but he doesn't get any lines. I kept waiting for him. He kind of gets to like sing in the background.
Yeah, he's singing in the opening song, but I think the fact that he's included at all feels like somewhat notable whenever they have to like pair off some Muppets to include and some not to include. Because obviously we don't see, all of our main characters showing up here, but most of them are there. I think the only we don't see Lips or Dr. Teeth, but the rest of the Electric Mayhem is there. Zoot seems to only pop up in one scene.
Yeah, Zoot was just like in that bush anyway. That's just where he was.
Hey, when they you guys found me.
Yeah, because Zoot is also in his like 80s suit and not in camping gear at all, and he just pops out of a bush with a saxophone, which is great. I like that part.
Maybe he was dropping acid with Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers.
Yeah,
he was hanging out with them, and he's like, "Oh, when did you guys get here?"
It was also exciting to see them and the Jug Huggers. It's so weird how prominent those guys were and they just probably around now drop off the face of the earth. Like this, I got to imagine was the last time we see them.
What a great
like that, right?
What a great foreshadowing, Sam, because they are our Muppets of the Week, and I will talk
Oh,
all about how long some of them stick around.
okay.
But yeah, for now, at the beginning of this, we have Gonzo warning Fozzie that these woods are full of bears, and Fozzie thinks, that's no problem. I am of the earth sign persuasion. And this is when he immediately gets scared and attacked by a bear because he doesn't speak Grizzly. We also learned that Statler and Waldorf have tagged along, being creeps from the bushes.
They're kind of just stalking in the bushes and watching them.
It's, again, their life, it revolves around the Muppets, and they don't know what to do if they don't have the Muppets to make fun of.
Well, eventually they say that they bought... what kind of factory did they buy?
Toothpick factory?
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Because I couldn't get it to rewind on archive.com to listen back to what they said. But yeah, they're like, then we need to find some trees, and that's why they're out there.
Yeah.
Which seems to be the first reference in a long time to them being rich, which made me think, like, canonically, have they really been rich before this?
I don't know if we've, I don't remember if we've had clear references to them having money. But they do say that they buy a toothpick factory, which is why they're out there for some trees, which seems like maybe they're not that rich because it seems like you would pay other people to do that for you.
To go look for the trees, that's true.
But yeah, this is the first insult from Statler and Waldorf is about Fozzie and the bear. Because they say the big angry bear is chasing the fat boring bear, which mean.
Yeah, really mean.
And then we do get the most personality I think we've ever seen from Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers. Mm-hmm. They each get like a little close up, and they each get like a little section of the song that they get to sing.
The song kicked ass too.
Yeah, and I think
I couldn't understand a word of what they were saying, but it was really good.
I feel like that's most of the songs, aside from like the really like traditional numbers. In this, I enjoyed the sound of them. More than the actual like content within.
Yeah.
Because some of them are honestly a little bit overwhelming in the way that they're arranged, and there's like 8 different parts singing over each other at one time. And I was like, okay, we don't need this right now.
But like 70s TV speakers couldn't probably handle that, I would imagine. 80s again, sorry.
Some seemingly uncharacteristically, Rolf brings a TV along.
I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, he brings a TV along because he expects to be able to watch TV while on this camping trip. He brought a 16-mile extension cord.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but it was just one of those moments where I'm like, is Rolf the one who would be watching TV and not really be into camping?
Well, they didn't bring Miss Piggy for some reason, which seems weird.
Yeah, there's a couple allusions, like you mentioned this in your summary, the timeline of when and how often they do this kind of thing is a little confusing.
Yeah.
They sort of reference at the beginning that this is like the first time they've done this. John Denver says like, I've been waiting for a long time to bring you guys out here. And then about 8 times throughout the special, they reference last summer when they did this before.
Yeah.
They also, early on, talk about Miss Piggy and how, I think they say like, yeah, last year she was crazy in the way, all the stuff she brought and how she came around here. And it was like, that's when they sing, she'll be coming around the mountain. But then later on, we get a section where Miss Piggy had written like a flirty letter to John Denver that references her being with him last year. And Kermit's like, what? You were with Piggy last year? When did this happen? How did this happen?
That was in October.
Right.
So it was later.
But like the mere mention at the beginning of the letter of wanting to see you again this year or something like that, Kermit's like, wait, what? You saw her last year?
Right. Oh, yeah. Kermit knew that, though.
Yeah. So it is a little bizarre. Not important at all to the story, but bizarre.
But it's just it just bothered me that that really what we're watching is a very boring camping trip where they keep talking about how much fun they had the previous year's camping trip and don't seem to do anything during this camping trip. Yeah,
until the very end where it is like an SNL sketch where they didn't know how to finish it. Where they're like, I don't know, what about a giant chicken? But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves there because at the beginning, it really is just a bunch of friends happy to go on a camping trip together. Kermit is in charge of getting people to set up their tents. And notably in this section, John Denver is like, hey, while you guys do that, Floyd and I are going to go fishing.
Yeah.
John Denver and Floyd, old pals.
Yeah, I think that totally tracks in my opinion.
You think?
I don't think Floyd would like John Denver's music, but I think they're both just smoking doobs all day long, you know?
Yeah, and I like them being pals. I think that like you said, it kind of makes sense. And even if it doesn't, I like the idea of Floyd getting to have some personality and get to interact with somebody as just like another adult.
Yeah.
Because there's a reference to something else in this episode, in this special, that we get some more backstory on Floyd that I never expected.
Do you want to talk about it right now? Because I wrote that down too.
Yeah, at one point in this, Fozzie, I believe, he sprays himself with something. I don't remember if it's like a cologne or something that...
Oh, it's Miss Piggy's letter has perfume on
Oh,
it.
right.
And he's like, I haven't smelled anything like that since I was stationed in Marseille.
Yeah, which led me down another rabbit hole of Floyd saying he was stationed in Marseille. Presumably, Floyd is American, just based on everything. The last time that there was U.S. troops stationed in Marseille, 1967. So the U.S. Air Force, they had troops stationed there between 1950 and 1967. So this would mean that Floyd was in the Air Force sometime between 1950 and 1967.
So did he fight in both Korea and Vietnam?
Well, he would have been out of Marseille before Vietnam, so maybe he was
Okay.
like an objector to Vietnam, and that's when he bailed and joined a band.
Right. Korea, though, for sure.
He would have been there during Korea, which I know nothing about the Korean War, especially if, troops in France would have been at all affected by the Korean War, if they were just on a hold there of like, hey, in case we need you.
It only went till 1953, so actually he wasn't in the Korean War.
No, but if he doesn't say when he was stationed there. So if he was stationed there from 1950 to 1953, maybe.
Right. Right.
But this would mean, if we're doing weird Muppet math, which never lines up, at this point, Floyd could be around like 35 years old, our age. If he,
Wow.
so he's at least like 34.
Right. If he was 18
In
the minute
1967.
he started being stationed in Marseille.
Right. So if he was 18 in 1967, that means he's 34 in 1983 in the Rocky Mountain Holiday. So he's at least 34, if not older.
Yeah. He seems like an early 40s guy to me.
Yeah, maybe 39. I could see him being 39 for some reason.
Yeah, okay. I'm so stupid I thought he was just there for World War II. He'd be really old then.
I mean, he would have been a baby.
Yeah.
If going off of this math, or yes, he'd be very, very old.
Or if the Muppets don't age like Captain America and Wolverine, and they all fought in World War II.
Okay, you brought up two very different scenarios of not aging there.
That's
One
true.
is frozen for a long time, and the other one just doesn't. So which one of the Muppets? Do they never age, like Wolverine? Or were they frozen for a long period of time, like Captain America?
I think the super soldier serum also increases your lifespan. So it could be both.
Okay.
But I love the idea that they were frozen. That the Red Skull kicked them all off of the wing of the airplane into the the Arctic.
Disney, you own them both. Make it happen.
Yeah. He just kicks like 175 Muppets off of the thing. They're all just frozen in there. And then they wash up on the shores of England. And they're like, let's have a TV show. Okay.
See, we just need that shot of Red Skull kicking Louis Kazagger off of an airplane. But yeah, so if Floyd was talking about, I guess, no, Marseille would have been after World War II as well. So it has to be like Korean War era, or he was just there. People get stationed in the military and don't go to war.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Floyd, I don't know if we ever learn more about his military past, but in this section, he's highlighting that he was in the military at some point, presumably the Air Force, and that he's presumably at least 34 years old.
I bet Jerry had his whole life story in his head and just never wrote it down anywhere. You think?
I do, honestly. That feels right to me. I don't have the time right now to look into Jerry Nelson and see if he was in the Air Force and perhaps stationed in Marseille. I feel like those might be public records that are available, but
yeah.
If I remember, I'll try and do that research later. But getting back to Rocky Mountain Holiday, I feel like I have to mention Kermit's cute little vest. And especially he's got a flannel shirt and a cute little puffy vest on. Seems very Montanan. Um,
You think like a native-born Montanan or a latecomer?
he's dressed exactly like a developer who has come to Montana
Yeah.
on a trip to build a new subdivision, is leaving after one day of visiting. But while he's here, is going to look very
He's got the
Montanan.
Pangoria? What's it called? Pagodia? What's it called?
Patagonia.
Patagonia. He's got the Patagonia thing on. He kind of looks like our governor, honestly.
Yeah, the tags are still on the vest. He
Yeah.
just stopped off, picked it up on his way. Yeah, that's what it feels like to
Yeah.
me, is he's getting ready to develop this land. That's why he's on this trip, is to look at like, it's a nice little piece of
buying it.
property. Lubbock Glue and the
Yeah.
Jug Huggers, you gotta get out. Tearing this down.
Yeah, we can take care of that.
I mean, he's got help in the form of Animal already, because he tells
Yeah.
Animal to go fetch firewood, and Animal starts the deforestation process and removes an entire tree from the ground.
Yeah, he could clear cut a tract of land in no time flat.
This feels like one of those specials where Frank Oz got to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see him not be Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
For him to be forced not to be Miss Piggy all that much.
But speaking of Frank Oz, he's also Fozzie throughout this special, who has an interesting characterization in this, in that he's just a big dumb dummy.
Yeah, he doesn't know what literally anything is.
At the beginning, the first bit did make me laugh, because he walks over to John Denver and he's like, "Hey, John, I got you some worms for fishing."
I thought this was...
And John Denver's like, "Those aren't worms, Fozzie. Those are snakes."
He says, "Those worms are snakes." And then Fozzie goes, "These worms are snakes?"
I did write that down as well, just all caps. "These worms are snakes." But yes, Fozzie just has snakes, like live, real snakes,
Yeah.
wriggling around his paws. But then later on, Fozzie wants to play football, but it's a wasp hive.
This one's really fucking stupid. Because how stupid do you have to be to think that you'd find a football in the woods? Come on, buddy.
Well, and also, it looks nothing like a football.
Oh.
It's gray, it has no laces, and it's about twice the size of a football.
And very light, I'd assume. I had a question about something we already talked about. When they're doing the hiking song in the beginning, are they all in a big trench? Or what? How did John Denver be at the same level? Because the trees look like the right height. It's not like he's standing on something. He probably is standing on something. That seems easier, I guess. But do you have any insight into how they did that?
So on Muppet Wiki, there are some photos of some of the behind-the-scenes moments, and it seems like a mixture of both, honestly. There are pictures in there where you do see just Jim down on his knees with like Kermit above his head, walking there with John Denver. And then there are moments where they have trenches built. So I think what probably happened is that main sort of like 20 by 20 grassy area where they're camping was a fake platform built out in the woods.
That makes sense.
So that way they could still film out there really in Aspen, Colorado. But they had a platform built up about 5 feet from normal level so that the puppeteers could be down there.
It did look a bit unnatural now that you
There are
mention
moments where
it.
it looks like you could just like kick it and you'd see it like the grass wrinkle or something. But yeah, there are some good behind the scenes photos on Muppet Wiki of like Jim Henson down in the trenches.
But what reminded me of that is that the next part is when Robin talks about wanting to help too, and he is just there. Like you can see his whole body, and I thought maybe Jerry was just in a big hole that they dug. But I guess it makes more sense if he is under a platform and not just like in a perfectly Jerry-sized hole.
It also seems like probably more environmentally conscious of
Sure.
of them not to go out in the middle of the woods and just start digging holes.
Start digging some holes. Yeah, this isn't the 60s anymore. They can't be digging holes everywhere.
Or maybe that was their balance. Is they dug a bunch of holes, and the National Wildlife Federation was like, "Hey, that's fucked
You guys
up.
dig a bunch of holes out
And
here?
like, what if we make some PSAs for you?" They're like, "Okay, you can dig holes."
They already dug the holes. They didn't ask. They asked for forgiveness, not for permission.
I think something worth noting about this special that I think is what partially makes the first half of this so great is that it's written by John Stone and Joseph Bailey.
I noticed that too. Yeah.
Sesame Street writers, notably.
Yeah.
obviously, Joseph Bailey also worked on a number of other Muppet things that were not, including the magic starring Blackstone that we talked about.
Oh, no. Okay.
Granted, I don't think he was given a lot to work with there, but yeah, it is interesting that they brought in some Sesame Street writers to work on this one, as opposed to, Jerry Jewell. But yeah, I think that helps the beginning of this in its humor, because we've talked multiple times about how Sesame Street is typically funnier.
The skits are funnier, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it should have been Big Bird as the giant chicken at the end. Right?
That would have been great. If Gonzo comes in, he's like, I found this feather. The giant chicken thing was real. And it's a big yellow feather. And Big Bird...
my heart would have fluttered.
Well, especially if he walks in and they just hear stomping and so they all run away. And then Big Bird walks up to like an empty campfire. He's like, hey,
where'd everybody go?
Where are my friends?
That would have been really cute.
Yeah. Wouldn't have made the second half of this necessarily better.
It would have made it a little bit better, but not good.
Apparently, also, speaking of the production stuff, on Muppet Wiki, it says that due to weather conditions, the nighttime campfire scenes were shot in an airplane hangar at the Aspen Airport.
Which kind of sounds cozy to me. I would love to camp if camping was just on a fake set in an airport hangar.
If camping wasn't camping.
Yeah.
Fozzie does something stupid again and sets his paws on fire at this point in the special.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like a few too many things. Like the snakes, worms thing was fun. And then like this is him almost doing the same bit where he like yells again, like, my paws are on fire.
I think dumping the wasp thing would have been like setting your paws on fire. Understandable. You're made of fabric. But the wasp thing was maybe the part that was one straw too many or whatever,
But it's followed by the bizarre, she'll be coming around the mountain, flashback to Miss Piggy, who... can you explain this?
Okay, so they're like, remember when this last winter, ? When we came camping with Miss Piggy, how crazy she was, and then it just is like coming around the mountain, except she's like, she'll be yelling at her hairstylist when she comes, or like she'll have her fan club with her when she comes, and she'll be towing her string section when she comes. So it's just like, it's like a flashback to Miss Piggy coming for camping with all of the crazy stuff she brought. I don't know there's not much more to explain than that, I guess.
No, there are some stretched rhymes, though, in this one, including she'll be scolding her hairstylist with some language that's the vilest.
Okay. I like that's okay.
Yeah. There was just a lot of, like, trying to fit in some syllables where they wouldn't naturally occur, maybe.
I think the whole thing really just felt unnecessary.
Yeah.
They should have just done something else.
I mean,
that day.
The later Miss Piggy section also is fine. So it's like, this is a weird... I think it just leans into that Miss Piggy is a star at this point. She is the diva. That's what we know about her. And they're probably like, well, Miss Piggy can't come camping. She's going to be terrible. She's going to hate this. She's going to ruin everything. So let's keep her off of the special. But still, we have to show her.
And the fact that it's really set during winter, like there's real snow on the ground, makes it feel like they filmed this for something else.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we're not doing that thing anymore. But we still have to use this because we spent a lot of money on that bus.
Yeah, it is bizarre. Because I think they filmed this in the summer or like the fall. So at some point they would have had to film the Piggy stuff separately.
Come back and film that.
No.
It just doesn't seem worth it.
No. But this is when we learn that Robin has tried to murder John Denver.
Robin, I almost broke my neck.
When Robin puts the clothesline only 10 inches high because that's as high as he can reach. And John yells, but immediately feels bad. And so he sings a song to Robin about, being a kid and watching kids fly kites, who are, I'm pretty sure John Denver's kids.
I guess his kids
are in that. It's called Catch Another Butterfly is the name of the song. And it's from a 1969 album of John Denver's. So that would have been a song that people probably would have known at this point.
That was nice enough.
Yeah, just about, one day you stop catching butterflies.
Yeah. Robin also says, holy moly, at one point when he's feeling really sorry for himself.
Yeah.
That's like him swearing. Like, oh, fuck.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but at the beginning, like up through this part, I was like, I kind of miss these guys. Maybe the Fraggles are good, but I kind of miss these guys. And I think Gobo has made me like Robin a little bit more for some reason. And I already liked Robin enough. But yeah, that will soon wear off. But at this point, I was still like, oh, you can't really beat the Muppets.
It is nice to get to check in with our old pals every now and then. Obviously, we have Muppets Take Manhattan not too far in the future here. But it's nice not to, forget about them while Jim and Frank are out promoting Dark Crystal and while Fraggle Rock is happening. They seem very focused on those two things. So for this to get to happen in the middle of all that was kind of nice. And I feel like these are some of the things that we watch because we are doing this podcast, that maybe not everyone out there who loves the Muppets has sat down and watched Rocky Mountain Holiday, because it's not going to jump to the top of your list probably of things to check off and watch. But I do think it's worth a watch overall, and I think just sort of knowing what the Muppets were up to at this period of time, it's worth it just for that. But I do think, one, the first half especially is pretty good, and the second half, you can fall asleep and it doesn't matter.
They kind of want you to fall asleep.
Yeah.
They keep being like, Robin, are you asleep? And it's like they're like saying, audience, are you asleep yet?
I watched this twice this week, and both times my wife fell asleep at the exact same spot. And it's exactly the spot, if you've seen this, where you think it would be when John Denver starts playing his real slow campfire songs.
Yep. And did you sing her a little goodnight song in her tiny, tiny, tiny little sleeping bag?
I did not. I just made sure it wasn't filled with chicken feathers, so she didn't get attacked in the night. And then we get the first of a couple. Hey, Ralph, you remember last time?
Yeah, some Family Guy cutaway gags.
This one is, Ralph, remember last summer when you were here in the inner tube and I was singing this song? And Ralph's like, I'd like to forget it. But then, of course, we have to see it. And this is the moment we referenced earlier where it ends with the Gonzo shark nose. And I really was wondering, how many times do you think they've done this summer trip? I know we talked about the timeline being confusing, whether or not this is the second year or the first year, but this was a moment where I felt like this is the 8th year that they've done this.
It seems like they've done this every year since they met John Denver on the Muppet Show, to me. They're very familiar.
He did the Muppet Show in 1979, so this would have been 4 years later. So presumably they could have done this for at least 3 summers, just hanging out. And we'll see John Denver, I think, at least 3 more times.
Holy shit!
With the Muppets, I think a couple times it's just performances at a live thing. He actually performs "Gone Fishin'" with Floyd at the Grammy Awards in 1984.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who, when it wraps, I feel like they walk away from where they shot the thing and they're like, gosh, I wish the Muppets were real.
Yeah. My old friend Floyd, where is he?
Yeah. It's like, I'm friends with Kermit the Frog. I know he's not real, but I am friends with him.
Yeah. You guys know Kermit, my friend? Oh, how do you know Kermit? Nationally famous television. I don't know on TV. He's just my friend.
I don't know on TV.
Me and Kermit just share my grandma's bed, and we hang out.
Yeah, we love to sing about it many, many times.
I do like there's a couple Ralph moments specifically in this where I just wish I had a high-res screen grab.
Is one of them when Rolf is in the river and he looks huge?
Yes, we get a good little long Rolf sighting
so
in this,
big.
like we did back in the IBM film days, where you get to see that Rolf's puppet extends seemingly 12 feet down below his head,
Definitely.
so that 2 grown men can fit underneath him.
Yeah, there's a cutaway back to Rolf after an inner tube pops where I genuinely, not even like in a goofy way, I was just like, that he's big. He looks scary.
He's too high up out of the water is the problem.
Yeah.
If they had kept him down a little bit and you didn't have to see that much of his body, it's fine. But the fact that you see that much of his body and he's supposed to be standing on Gonzo's shoulders or head, it really makes the rest of his body this weird
you fill it in with he's thog sized, or
just extremely wide hips and tiny little feet in the middle.
tiny little
I don't like it.
He looks really cute in that inner tube though.
Oh yeah, he's got sunglasses on. He's reading. You just float in the river like we have done many.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture of you looking like Rolf, just like
exactly
that.
the same. Yeah, I think you're right. I've never read a book. But
No.
Other than that,
Yeah. Maybe you'd bring the TV with the 16-mile extension cord.
yeah.
Then it's revealed, again, messing with the timeline. This is when we find out about Piggy's love letter to John Denver that she sent. Most notably, she says to not mention this letter to Kermit, but John Denver, being the dick he is, just has Kermit read the letter to him.
Read it. Why can't he read it? I don't understand.
I thought it was going to be a reference to him not wearing his glasses, but it seems like maybe it's just Miss Piggy's handwriting is so bad.
Or he's like Leah Michelle.
Secretly, John Denver can't read.
Yeah.
But he has Kermit read it, and it's a whole letter addressed to Dear Johnny. I wish I could be with you this year, yada, yada. I had so much fun last October. And Kermit is slowly freaking out throughout this of like, wait a minute, last October, she was visiting her aunt in Toledo. And John Denver says, it was a busy October. Doesn't deny that anything happened, really.
No.
And we even get confirmation of that because we get to see John Denver and Piggy off riding horses in one of the biggest, how'd they do that? Moments.
My gosh, did they hollow that horse out and put Frank in there?
Well, looking back over it, what I think is happening is in the medium shots when you get to see Piggy performing and singing, clearly being puppeteered, I think Frank's just walking next to that horse.
Next to the horse with his hand up her leg or something.
Like
and
when we saw the motorcycle behind the scene things where everyone's just standing next to the motorcycles with their arms up in the puppets. I think that's exactly what's happening. And he's having to like trot along next to the horse.
Yeah, because it's definitely not radio controlled.
No, and we don't see below the horse's body during those scenes.
Right.
Like it's cut off.
But it is definitely a real horse.
Yes, absolutely real horse. Then, when they cut to the wide shots, the shots are so wide of Piggy riding on this horse that it could just be a stuffed animal of Piggy. It doesn't even need to be a robot Piggy.
Need to be the robot.
It's probably just a stuffed Piggy glued to the top of a horse. To the saddle, not to the horse itself.
Man, it's convincing, though. It looks great.
Yeah, no, they do a very good job. And I think because it is probably just Frank walking along the side of the horse and then cut to the wide shot, you're convinced that, again, they must have hollowed out that horse and put Frank inside of there. Or their robotics have gotten so much better than they were 5 minutes ago.
Or they've made a perfect Muppet horse.
Yeah, that too. This is the first super convincing Jim Henson creature.
Yeah. If this had been the only time Miss Piggy showed up in the whole thing, that would have been really great. It would have been super impactful to not see her be so stupid during the coming around the mountain thing. But to be like very elegant on this horse, I liked it.
Yeah, she seemed to be enjoying herself and didn't need to be the diva in that scene.
Yeah, and her and John are just friends. I'm sure nothing weird's going on.
I think John at this point had been married for like 60 years or something like that. So I think he...
He's like 25, though.
I don't know, those ears. I'm not so sure. Well, after this, we do have the since deleted scene of Rolf and John because now, Rolf's got the hiccups.
Rolf, they kind of did Rolf dirty in this special, I feel like.
They like keep bringing up semi-embarrassing stories about Rolf.
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell? I didn't ask for any of this. But yeah, Rolf has the hiccups and John's like, well, you remember last time when I cured your hiccups? And it's like, yeah.
I would like to forget again.
But apparently last summer, they had some real adventures because not only did they go floating down the river, John also took Rolf up in an airplane to get rid of his hiccups.
To scare him so bad, I guess. Is that what the implication
I believe
was?
so, to scare the hiccups out of him. And so we get to see Rolf and ostensibly Jim in a real airplane in the sky.
Yeah, and it's scary.
Rolf mentions dogs have bad luck in airplanes. Haven't you heard of Amelia Airedale?
That was a pretty good one. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It says like a running commentary while he is in this plane and then close-up shots of the puppet being puppeteered while flying and doing loop-de-loops and stuff. And again, it was very cool.
Yeah, see, for me, this is the last good thing in the special. Because I do think we always say this when Rolf is good, but it has Jimmy Dean energy.
Yeah, definitely.
Rolf getting to crack his one-liners.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's impressive technically that they would do this kind of thing.
I wonder why they decided to use Rolf and not Kermit or somebody else, or like Fozzie or something. I wonder why they did 2 Rolf bits.
Yeah. Wonder if it was like, hey, which puppet are we okay if it falls out of a plane or gets dropped in the river? Rolf, yeah, he's expendable.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Yeah.
We can't soil Kermit. Imagine the newspaper headlines of Kermit the Frog falls out of airplane in
Plummets
Colorado
from
today.
airplane. That would have been great footage, though. He's been thrown out of an airplane before. Not weird.
That's true.
He can
They
live.
had yeah. But that is another one of the high-res screenshots I wish existed, is Rolf just facing forward, terrified on the airplane. After this is when we get the first of about 100 songs that John Denver is about to perform, just back to back with no story in between.
Just sitting around the campfire.
Yeah. Camilla's there now, which
I
don't
noticed that.
see Camilla before this, but suddenly they remembered, we wanted to have a chicken storyline in this. We should probably break out Camilla.
Yeah, she's there purely to be humiliated as Gonzo wants to go have sex with another chicken.
But Camilla is there, cuddle up with Gonzo for this. Janice and Floyd also real cuddly. And around the end of the song, I wrote in my notes, well, it hasn't been funny in a little bit. And then that continues because we get a commercial break and we come back and it's nighttime and John's going to sing Home on the Range now. And this really, really feels like it's going to be the end of the special.
Yeah.
You come back from commercial, it's nighttime, you feel like, okay, well, they're going to sing one more song, tuck everyone in, and good night, everybody.
Yeah. We're about 2/3 of the way done is all. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I was shocked. I really, really thought this was going to be the end of the special, and then it's just kind of a lull where there's 2 not funny things in a row. And then we get the story of the giant man-eating chicken. Apparently, a guy went and stole some feathers from a chicken, and the furious chicken swore that as long as she lived and even after she died, she'd take revenge on people who have chicken feathers in their sleeping bags.
And then Gonzo went boing.
Yeah, he dresses up in a tuxedo to get a date with a man-eating chicken.
With the undead murderous chicken.
But before we get that section, actually, is when we do get another rendition of Grandma's Feather Bed. This time we do not get to see John Denver dressed up as his own grandma.
Too bad.
But we do get a lovely version of this song performed by Kermit.
Yeah, this was pretty nice. This is a fun song, not a sleepy song.
Yeah. Gonzo does go out and find a giant feather. And this is the first moment when John Denver is like, shit, there might actually be a giant man-eating chicken. And it is proven shortly thereafter because the giant chicken walks into camp, terrifying with its sharp spiked teeth and its beak. Everyone's freaked out. John Denver runs off, presumably pursued and held captive.
Devoured by.
by this large chicken. And this was the moment where I really was like, they did not know how to end this special.
What are we doing here,
They're like,
guys?
all right, so the Muppets and John Denver go camping. Great, write it up. And they wrote the first half, and they're like, this is hilarious. This is great. All these antics happening. Now what? Well, he's going to sing some campfire songs. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Then what? He's going to sing some more campfire songs.
Sweat visibly pouring off of the writer's head.
Then there's a giant man-eating chicken. It's like, oh, okay.
What is Jim like?
And like, didn't even use the giant chicken suit from the Muppet Show. They had,
No, they made a brand new one.
yeah, apparently Steve Whitmire, by the way, is in the suit, the giant man-eating chicken in this. But after all that excitement, Robin is sleepy, and Kermit, very cutely, carries Robin off to the tent. He's like holding Robin like a little baby. I think Robin, like us, is too tired of too many songs.
This is boring.
Yeah, there's just so many songs in this. And don't worry, we got more. Because we get another version of It's in Every One of Us, a song that we heard in the John Denver Christmas special with the Muppets. And we're hearing it again here, and we're going to hear it again in Muppet Family Christmas eventually when we watch that.
Yeah, so it's an old standby. It's a nice song.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind it.
Didn't feel earned here, though. I don't
Well, and it feels very Christmassy to me. And this
Yeah,
is
that
not
too.
a Christmas special at all,
No.
unless you consider the word holiday. Like, if you're not...
They mean it in the English
It is a
sense.
weird phrasing of that because,
Yeah.
like, going on holiday is not a thing Americans say.
Rocky Mountain Vacation? I don't know what they call it. Rocky Mountain
Getaway.
I like that. Jamboree. They could call it a jamboree.
Rocky Mountain Jamboree.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But I think that's honestly about all I got to say about Rocky Mountain Holiday here, Sam. Overall, not a bad way to spend 45 minutes of your time, especially for the first half.
Yeah, I feel like we get some new Muppet lore a little bit, or like
Especially with Floyd.
this. Yeah, especially with his military history, various other things. Yeah, it feels a little bit more like they're slipping into the mode of Muppet that we know nowadays more and more.
Yeah, this felt like it could have been made it feels sort of timeless, I guess. It's like it feels like this could have been made in 1974. It feels like it could have been made in 1996. Like
We could have had Blake Shelton's Rocky Mountain Jamboree.
Oh, don't put those words out there. That could still happen. But I think you're onto something there a little bit, where I wouldn't mind seeing something like this with the Muppets now. Like,
yeah, how cheap would it be to just throw together, like, once a year, you throw together, like they did with Lady Gaga. Just get the Muppets, call up Lady Gaga again, and say, please, come camping with us.
I think
we need this.
I feel like you maybe need a little. How do I do this without insulting Lady Gaga? Maybe you need somebody a little bit more down to earth, who can be a little bit more just themselves, hanging out.
Right. Chris Pratt, camping special.
Get out.
That's the most realistic option, you know?
I see. Like, I feel like we need.
He's got to rehab his image a little bit. He already's got Disney contracts, I'm sure. He could voice Kermit.
New voice of Kermit, Chris Pratt. I'm picturing now. I'm looking through my list of potential celebrities that I wanted to have on a new Muppet show, and I feel like I have like 4 pitches for you for who could do the next camping show.
Rocky Mountain Jamboree. Okay.
It can be like Appalachian Jamboree. Like they can go somewhere else.
Okay.
So my pitches:
Larry the Cable Guy.
Jason Sudeikis.
Who's that? Oh, yeah, I know who that is. Is that Soccer Man?
Sure. Ted Lasso. Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Taika Waititi.
Camping. Interesting.
He would be just as uncomfortable as Miss Piggy, I think.
Yeah. He's a glamorous fella.
And lastly, Pedro Pascal.
He's too scary.
But in real life,
like
he's not scary.
Like, shing, shing. Yeah, I guess so. Pedro Pascal and the Muppets. Appalachian Jamboree. Why? Don't you want a country singer?
Say those words again and tell me it's not the best combination of words you've ever heard.
I mean, it would trend on Twitter for like a week straight.
As I say, you need to reinvigorate
That's true.
the Muppets. Pair them with like the most famous person right now in Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. Why can't it just be Taylor Swift?
Okay, yes. Great choice, to be fair. But I don't feel like she'll do it. I also don't know. Love me some T Swift. Acting chops, not her high point.
Well, are John Denver's?
I think they might be better than Taylor Swift's.
Yeah, they were okay. I guess he's been in movies and stuff, which I think she maybe has too. Maybe she was in Cats. If she'll do Cats, she'll do the Muppet Jamboree.
She also did that. What's his face's new movie, Amsterdam or whatever it's called. The terrible man. What's his face?
Yeah, Russell Nelson.
That's almost right. Not Russell T Davies. That's the Doctor Who man.
Russell.
Who's the
David O. Russell?
David O. Russell. Yeah, she did his new movie, so maybe she'll do Muppets.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I do feel like you're right in that it would end up being like Blake Shelton or Brad Paisley or like one of those people.
One of those people that simply I'm just not interested in seeing them. That's it more at than anything.
But if Blake Shelton brings Gwen Stefani,
and she and Miss Piggy could be in their glamping tent watching TV with Rolf, I guess.
No, Rolf. I feel like Rolf would end up hanging out with Blake Shelton.
Yeah, he would like Blake Shelton because he's a countryman.
Mm-hmm.
He likes countrymen.
Hey, you know Jimmy Dean?
No, that was 75 years ago, Rolf. What? How long have I been alive?
You think I'm like Wolverine or Captain America?
I'm contractually not allowed to discuss that with you.
Oh, well, maybe the audience has better ideas for who.
Hopefully.
I I fixed it, Sam.
Who?
Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton's Appalachian
Absolutely.
Jamboree. They can go down to Tennessee, hang out in Dollywood. Muppets go Dollywood?
We gotta hurry up. She's old. I had another one. I think Lil Nas X maybe could do it good.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah, I like that.
They could
I like
sing
either
Old Town
leaning
Road.
into like the Southern charm kind of thing with Dolly Parton, or going the
Yeah.
opposite direction of somebody who is like, it's like they like were forced contractually to do a camping thing, and they're just like, I don't know how to camp. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, when I signed this 5-picture deal with Marvel, for some reason there was a writer that said that I had to do a camping special with the Muppets.
Well then, Sam, it feels like it must be time for our Muppets of the Week. And that banjo music is appropriate because this week's Muppets of the Week is Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers. Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers are the jug band who replaced the, in my opinion, superior Gogolala Jubilee Jug Band in the second season.
No, they all fell in a hole and became Fraggles. They're fine.
Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers were mostly designed by Jim Henson, just drawing some sketches on a piece of paper and saying, make those, please. And they first appeared as background Muppets during Steve Martin's Dueling Banjos number on The Muppet Show in Season 2 back in 1977. But they made their first real performance debut in the Dom DeLuise episode that season, singing Henrietta's Wedding, which is, I believe, the female Lou and Slim singing about not wanting to go to somebody's wedding. And I'm going to warn you now, as far as background information on Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers, surprisingly, not a ton. But because they were featured so prominently in Rocky Mountain Holiday, I wanted to talk about them, and I wanted to go through them one by one to talk about their performers, who they are, where they ended up, and how long they stick around. I should also mention that according to the Muppet Character Encyclopedia, Slim Wilson, who's the guitarist of the band, was formerly in a band called Slim and the Sheep Dippers, and Gramps, who's also in the band, plays fiddle, is not a grandfather.
Just some old guy.
But obviously we have Lubbock Lou as the star of the show, who plays the jaw harp, and in the original Jim sketches, he was labeled as Slim in the drawings. He has had various performers throughout the years, which you're going to find that's a trend with these jug huggers. But notably in Rocky Mountain Holiday, he is performed by Dave Goelz. And on Muppet Wiki, it points out that Richard Hunt performed him in the Gene Kelly episode, but as far as other credits go, there's not really any specifics of who performed him and when. And it appears, at least according to Muppet Wiki again, that his last appearance will be in the Muppets Take Manhattan.
In the wedding.
Presumably, yeah, when they just toss all those Muppets in the wedding scene. Lubbock Lou, by the way, has like a big black beard and a hat and kind of big bulbous eyes. I know they don't call out a lot of times the different jug huggers, so it might be good for me to let you know which ones are which here when we're talking about them. But yeah, Lubbock Lou, hat, big black beard, sort of Fidel Castro-y.
Yeah, that ain't wrong.
That's not entirely off. Slim Wilson, in the original Jim drawings, was named Jed, has had a pretty consistent performer in that of Jerry Nelson. I feel like anytime you hear Slim Wilson speak, for the most part, he is Jerry Nelson's voice coming out of there. And he is the one
He
that
just looks like he should be voiced by Jerry.
Yeah, he looks like he would have been part of the country trio, but just not based on a real human. He's got a big long nose, big old mustache, kind of Willie Nelson-ish. But he was occasionally performed by other people, including Frank Oz, Steve Whitmire, Jim Henson, and Brian Henson. And he will stick around through Muppets Tonight,
Oh, wow.
which is when he's performed by Brian Henson, is in Muppets Tonight. So he makes it at least till the mid-90s. Zeke, the banjo player of the group, is the one who is just, big old shaggy yellow hair. Weirdly enough, we described him, I think, in a past episode as possibly related to Lips,
A
because
proto-lips of sort.
yeah, well, they appear sort of around the same time, and he was one of the later additions to the Jug Huggers lineup, much like Lips was the later addition to the Electric Mayhem. So maybe, they're cousins, and they just rolled into town at the same time, and were like, hey, let's go join this weird Muppet show. I'll join the Jug Band. You join the Electric Mayhem.
Well, he also plays with the Electric Mayhem, at least in Blue Bayou, but I think other times too.
Yeah, and he shows up as a marimba player or something like that in the background.
Yeah.
He is performed mostly by Jim Henson, but also by Steve Whitmire, and will be around through The Muppets, A Celebration of 30 Years, which I believe is in 1986. So a little bit past Muppets Take Manhattan. The other for some reason, Lou in the group, is the female singer and tambourine player. She was performed by Louise Gold and will appear last in The Muppets Take Manhattan. We then have Bubba, the jug player, who we don't see his eyes. We just see his big bulbous nose poking out underneath some bangs while he's playing his jug. Richard Hunt is labeled as his performer, with no one else mentioned, but I'm guessing also various performers throughout the years. In Jim's original drawings, he was labeled as Willie. I think he sort of has that like Wendell energy, and not just because they both play jug in a jug band, but that just kind of like easily equated in my head as Bubba and Wendell.
The jug player's got to be a dumb guy, right?
Like, yeah, you can just blow into this. He will also stick around only through Muppets Take Manhattan, so Bubba is also not long for this world. Lastly, in the Jug Huggers, we have Gramps, who plays the fiddle. Obviously, the trend here, various performers. He was performed by Frank Oz in the Bernadette Peters episode, the John Cleese episode, and here in Rocky Mountain Holiday. He was performed by Jerry Nelson in the Bob Hope and Arlo Guthrie episodes, performed by Richard Hunt in the Peter Sellers and James Coburn episode, and performed by Rob Mills in the Jim Henson Hour episode 109, because Gramps is the longest living member of the Jug Huggers to stick around.
Oh, what the hell?
In 2008, on the Today Show, they apparently show a still photo of him, and it is a rebuilt puppet, and they call him Zeke Stillwater.
Why?
Great question. I guess Gramps is not specific enough for a joke.
There's already a Zeke, though.
Maybe he's Zeke Sr.
Oh. Okay.
We don't know Zeke's last name, so
I can buy that. I
Zeke
like
Stillwater
that.
Jr. But it seems like, at least in puppet form, Gramps sticks around until at least Muppets Most Wanted.
Wow.
So we will see Gramps around for a while.
He's a fun puppet.
I feel like
He's got teeth. He's one of the only ones with teeth.
I feel like he looks like Brewster a little bit.
Okay.
That terrible puppet who we thankfully got rid of a while back.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that like bald head, big old white shaggy beard kind of look is something that I'm not surprised that they kept around, but thankfully got rid of the personality of Brewster.
And the offensive accent.
Yeah. I mean, you give a white guy in the 70s a guru character. Unfortunately, not surprised that it's going to happen.
Yeah, when you give Mike Myers in the 2000s a guru character. Come on.
Yeah, this is like, blanket
Passing
statement
gurus.
here. Hey, stop being gurus, white guys.
Unless you're actually a guru.
Yeah, unless that's like, your culture and you're an actual guru. Maybe don't pretend to be gurus in other media. Weirdly, that's my last note to go out on. So I didn't have anything else to say about the Jug Huggers. So you heard it here.
Okay.
Commitment, strong stance against
anti-white people guru stance.
We got for the new T-shirt. Don't be a guru. So, Sam, what would you rate Lubbock Lou and the Jug Huggers out of 10?
I'm really torn on this one because I love things like Bobby Benson's Baby Band and this, where it's like the Muppets are a ragtag troupe of performers. And the more like orbiting groups of weird musical acts and stuff they have, the better, I think. And I've been delighted with how much these guys have shown up. Like I was shocked they were in Great Muppet Caper, when even like Link Hogthrob doesn't get to be in Great Muppet Caper. They're not like blowing my socks off, but I like having them around, and I think it's kind of sad that they're gone. So I'll give them a 6.5.
All right. I still hold a grudge against them because I enjoy the energy of the Google Jubilee Jug Band a little bit more.
I can never forgive Google Jubilee Jug Band for the nasty, muddy feet that they showed that one time.
Yeah, that was kind of gross. I don't think they'd get a much higher rating in my ranking of overall Muppets, but I do give Lubbock Lou and Jug Huggers a 5.5. So, Sam, before we get out of here, gotta ask, what did you enjoy in the non-Muppet realm of media this week?
I was so sick this week.
You were a sick little boy all week.
I slept for like 2.5 days straight. So I didn't really watch a ton of stuff except Empire of Light, because it's nominated for an Oscar for cinematography, because it was shot by that really famous cinematographer.
Roger
What's his
Deakins?
name? Roger Deakins shot it. It's directed by Sam Mendes. I wrote on my letterbox it was the most boring movie I've ever seen in my life.
Famously, filmer of Muppets, Roger Deakins.
Oh yeah, what he filmed the Miss Piggy special?
No, the Of Muppets and Men documentary.
Oh right. Right. Well, look at him now.
Yeah, he's fallen so far.
Yeah. And then also for we do this movie club every week, and this month's theme is it's a bunch of people, and we are picking movies that we watched when we were teens. My movie that I picked was Donnie Darko. That movie does not hold up.
Really?
There's parts of it that are great, but then I think about it as like that movie was so deep, you know? Like there's so many deep parts.
Oh, it's the most like high school boy in 2004 wanting to explain movies to other people movie.
Yeah. It's the most teenage movie that I've ever seen because it really brought me back to like how I felt when I was a teen, like how smart I thought I was.
Yeah, you're carrying Donnie Darko in one hand and Catcher in the Rye in the other hand. And you're walking through the halls being like, hey, look at me.
But whenever somebody would be like this, he's got the teachers, Noah Wiley from ER, and the person whose name I should remember more than Noah Wiley from ER. She was in E.T.
Drew Barrymore?
Yep. Statler or Waldorf dated her great-grandfather. And Drew Barrymore are these two teachers, and everything they say is the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard anyone say in a movie. They're just supposed to be like so wise, but the cellar door part is just like she just says it's the most beautiful word in the English language, and it's like, okay, moving on. It's so dumb. But then there's a lot of it that is very like, it almost feels like Little Miss Sunshine, kind of like the same tone of like, this knows it's goofy, but then every now and then it forgets it's goofy, and it's just like, I am profound now. Just like, come on. Overall, it was pretty fun to watch, actually. It has a nice, like, it's so weird. Just that those little parts, like this, there's just those parts where it's like, I'm so smart. And it's just like, come on, Donnie Darko. Get out your own ass. So that was kind of an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, man, you ever seen Southland Tales?
No, but Rachel saw that movie and I think hated it.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters for free and almost walked out.
Were you like a test audience?
No, I worked in a movie theater.
Oh.
And we got it. And wow, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. And there is a scene where Justin Timberlake sings The Killers
Justin
at the Santa Monica Pier.
Oh.
It's very strange.
Like a song by The Killers?
Yeah, he just starts singing, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Oh, that's making me want to die.
The Rock is in it. Sean William Scott. Kevin Smith plays an old man.
Ew.
Like a military old man, I believe. I think there's reasons that, Richard Kelly hasn't made a movie since 2009. He made like 3 movies ever, and then people were like, yeah, we're good. Well, I did not watch a Richard Kelly joint this week. I watched Living, the new Bill Nighy, also nominated for an Oscar, film, which is a remake of an Akira Kurosawa film from the 50s.
Okay.
And it's very good. From what I understand, it's a very faithful adaptation. I have not watched the original yet, but I am more interested in seeing it now. It's on HBO Max, so I'd probably watch it. But this one it's beautifully shot. If you know anything about the team behind this movie, it's not surprising that not a lot happens in this movie. It's kind of a very chill vibe. My wife and I saw it at the Roxy last night, and we were maybe the youngest couple by a couple decades watching this film. But yeah, very good, very beautiful film. I'd say check it out.
Ikiru, I've heard of that.
And on top of that, I've just been playing so much of F1 Manager 22.
That's the one that you play where you don't even get to race the cars. Right?
You don't even race the cars, Sam. You pick out their tires. You tell them when to take pit stops. Yeah, it's.
I can't laugh at you because management sims are my favorite kind of game. I love that shit.
Typically they're not for me. I loved playing football games and stuff like that as a kid. But whenever they had a manager type of mode, when you had to figure out budgets for how many nachos should we stock in the arena this month, I was always I hate this part.
Just go get a job.
I think what helps is that F1 teams have 2 athletes that you have to manage, not 50 different contracts that you have to renew or whatever. There's 2 people to worry about.
Right.
and so it's a little bit easier to maintain. Granted, when I first started playing it, I was the worst and like had the best drivers coming in like last place, and I was like, I'm doing something wrong.
Did you figure it out?
I did, yeah. I'm much better at it. Now I'm ruthless. I'm a ruthless negotiator, whereas like I had the best driver in Formula One on my team, and he was being kind of annoying in contract negotiations, so I fired him.
Wow.
Good luck in your future endeavors, Lewis Hamilton. So before we go, we need to let you know what we'll be watching next time, because next time we won't be alone, Sam.
Ah.
We will we will have a special guest as we watch and discuss the 1983 special Big Bird in China.
Oh, baby.
And our special guest will be none other than author and podcaster Lindsay Kelk. So we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast, and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. If you're looking for a commitment enamel pin, or you want to join our Patreon, or you just want to say hey, go to commitment.com and you can do all those things over there. And if you want to send us an email, just say, hey, I like the podcast, or hey, here's a link to that secret Jimmy Dean thing you've always been wanting to see. Mail@commitment.com is the place to reach us. You can follow this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr at CommitmentPod, and you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.